Mikey P back on the Into Money Players podcast in the Money Media YouTube channel for closing day at Keeneland. The guy that was fantastic this year at Keeneland in the spring, Ryan Anderson, is back with me. Ryan, you have killed this Keeneland meet.
It's been a fun Keeneland meet. I love Keeneland spring. In my opinion, it's better for me than the fall meet has been in recent years. So yeah, happy to crush it. 2 days left. We got the closing day spot plays to take care of today, and yeah, today and tomorrow. It'll be sad to see it go, but when Keeneland spring goes, that means it's Derby time.
Yeah, Pete and I did a show for Wednesday. Just missed that pick six yesterday. We sort of had all the numbers, but couldn't connect them on the right ticket with that carryover. We're recording this Thursday, so we'll have Thursday racing, and Friday is closing day. A little spot plays today. Didn't want to go any particular sequence, just pick out some horses that we're interested in on a Friday. And I'm going to go in race number 3 to kick it off, Ryan. And then this is a maiden 20. They're going to mount a 16th. And I was interested in the one Imprudent. This one started first time out at Fairgrounds on March the 14th on the grass. And first timer on the rail, on the grass, and broke terrible, honestly. It really was pretty far back early. Now, this one's bred for the dirt. Made a pretty big run, enough to get a call around the turn that the horse did have run and closed up. Finished 5th, but if you look there, the winner won by 5.5 and was gone. Rail was out that day. This one was right there for second. There was a big bunch of horses right there late. The 2 shows up out of that race in this spot also, and probably will be heavily favored, but I just think getting to the dirt, getting second outs, I'm interested in Imprudent. Hopefully that can upset the favorite there in race number 3.
I like it. The 2 really did no running last time earlier in this meet just a couple weeks ago. So I have no problem with you trying to beat that horse. And yeah, you take a little bit of an unknown with a horse that can go onto the dirt from the turf.
Second spot play for me, and I know yours are all mostly coming late in the card, but I'm going to go to race number 5 for the second one. And Ryan, I'm going to go to a price in here. This is a maiden 100,000 claimer, and basically a slight drop from maiden special weights. I would think that they're pretty comparable on paper anyway, and usually with the stock that they attract, because you have 77,000 in the pot. But I like the price. I like the 2 easy dial 8-1 morning line here, and this one raced at Turfway first time out, was for a maiden 30. And I thought raced okay. I mean, was bet in that spot, broke terrible, and really had a tough trip. Ended up closing up for second. Now steps into this race, which I don't mind. You get the dirt here. This one is bred for the dirt. You got Dowd in on the top. You have a little bit of turfy synthetic breeding on the bottom, but this one I do think getting to the dirt is going to be a price in a race that is full of horses that have had plenty of chances. And you have another Brad Cox favorite in here in mainstream. Well, this one was popping 90 buyers at Saratoga and Churchill last year. Now shows up and with a tag, and we'll see. That one's going to be, I would think, take a lot of money in here. I'm just going to take a little bit of a flyer. I'm not saying that this is a huge bet, but the 2 easy dial in race number 5. Did you look at that race?
Oh, yeah. Jackson and I covered for the Gallop Out. We covered the pick 6 on closing day, and I did take the 5 just because I didn't think there's a whole lot of places you can lean in this sequence, but Jackson tried to beat this favorite, and I get it. I just think today, or Friday rather, I think he's going to meet his friends with that drop down to 100. Jackson brought up a good point. Those 92 buyers came over the slop at Churchill and at Saratoga, so it could have been the wet track that kind of moved that horse up a little bit. I do think the comeback race at Gulfstream, he's run into some good horses in Stars and Strides, tap into this. And some others. So I do think that last out at Gulfstream was good, but certainly if you're trying to beat him, I gave the 2 a look. I thought the 4, a Yaupon firster for Steve Asmussen. He's certainly capable to fire first out. The 6, My Lucky Penny, a couple new faces in here I thought could maybe take it. Asmussen has another one in Hyperlink that comes in with kind of that kitchen sink angle as well. So options to go if you're trying to beat, along with the number 2 easy dial, who I think Jackson picked in this race as well.
Race 6 comes to the dirt as well. 7 furlongs here, Ryan. And it's a 1X allowance for older fillies and mares. And you had a look in here. You had a play you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, I did. The 3 Absolute Honor, definitely the horse to beat. Going to be probably towards the front end. The 2 Trust Fund Filly, a little tough to trust with the form going out. So I'm going to box the 3 outside horses. Not something I typically do, but I do think the 4 Queen Jubilee for Whitworth Beckham, that was a good win last time to break the maiden, closing into a slow pace that day. Just to the outside, Tesura de Parata for a new trainer out of the Michael McCarthy barn. Gets blinkers on, but this is a bit of a speedball type and one that should be forward, and I think can kind of hold him off late. Has a good work over the Keeneland main track, actually a couple of them going back. We haven't seen this one since June of last year. That being said, I still think this one might be able to fire fresh and fire fast. And then Expected Patronum comes back in the Linda Rice barn, was claimed off of a maiden claimer in here just a few weeks ago. So comes back. Linda Rice, I think, claimed 3 horses out of that race. So Expected Patronum, very nice winner that time, was able to sit off the pace. So I think the 4, 5, 6 exacta box is how I'll play this, trying to beat those 2 favorites to the inside.
Now, I know how you play, and you're not a big exacta box player, but in a race like this where you have a couple favorites, especially 2-1 and 7-5 that you're looking to fade, is that an opportunity maybe to, sort of box up those exactas, trying to get those other ones, if you get the favorites out, and no matter the combination you get, I think you're going to, obviously get paid.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a super strong opinion on any of those outside 3 horses other than I just really don't like the 2 favorites in here. I think Trust Fund Filly has gone off form, and I think the horse just to that one's outside the 3 Absolute Honor, I think is better going longer, going a mile, maybe even going 2 turns. So I'm trying to beat both of those horses in here. They're both going to take obscene amounts of money just because, I get the 86 buyer last time, and you get IRAD on the 3. And then Trust Fund Phillies maybe faced not a touch better, but has been running at this level for a while. So that she's going to kind of that she should class up on her best days, I should say. But I don't like any of them in the way that this race pans out. So I'm going to try and get a little value and box the 4, 5, and 6. Probably won't be a super strong play, but just one to get some action going as we go through the closing day.
Let's go to race 7 now, and staying on the dirts, and it's a starter allowance. They're $20,000 starter allowance types. Ryan, we have a big field here. You got 9 horses. You like a couple prices?
I do. I really like. I'll bookend this one. I really like the 9 to the far outside. That's definitely my top pick in here. I'm not going to try and say the name, but Anna Mia, Luis Saez team up. This runner, I think you kind of know what she is. She's been running those mid to upper 70s, and that's kind of what she runs every single time she hits the track, kind of regardless of distance. She hasn't cut back in quite some time. We haven't seen her at the 6-7 furlong distance since November of last year. So in my opinion, I think this is the horse that you want. Cutting back, you get Luis Saez, who's one of my favorite riders on these cutbacks, especially for a horse that has some forward ability, just because he's not going to take that away from them. This horse has passed horses in the past, so I think he's just going to sit, or she rather, is just going to sit a nice outside trip. Normally with a pedigree like this, I would think turf, but this runner is 2 for 2 over the main track at Keeneland and has 4 wins over the dirt with 9 more in the money. So this is one that I certainly want to give a strong look to, and one that I'll be playing on top as a main A. And then to the far inside, 5-0 somewhere, I think is another very logical horse. Axel Concepcion, Matt Shire team up here. I'm thinking Axel is going to be aggressive out of the 1 post, just kind of send to the lead and hope to kind of run them off their feet early. But either way, I hope to have the 9 just kind of sitting off, because that's going to be my main play. I'll use the 1-9 in horizontals.
A couple nice prices there. The starter races can easily. You have a horse that kind of won their way out of those starters and they end up big favorites. Or you get races like this where you have horses stepping in. You have horses dropping out of allowance races. So this is an interesting spot here. And I do think this is a race that I think it's smart to look for a price. So that's good looks there. Race number 7 starts the late pick 4 there on Friday at Keeneland. Go to race 8, and we both have some opinions in this race, the Grade 3 Bewitched Stakes. And this is a typical closing day feature at Keeneland. They're going 1.5 miles here, Brian. And you had an exacta play. I think we both like prices.
Yeah, I think so. Look, the horse I like on top is the favorite. It's going to be the 9 Speed Shopper. Off the Orchid, 3rd place finish. This horse kind of was in a tough spot. I mean, was in a great spot by Johnny V the entirety of the ride. The issue was the space didn't materialize for him when all the running started. And by the time he got free on this mare. All the running was pretty much done. I mean, didn't have much time to kind of get to the finish. Galloped out really well, finished the race off strong. This horse obviously loves going the 12 furlong distance. So I think coming back here, I anticipate Johnny V to give one of those Fountain of Youth rides that he gives when he comes to Keeneland in the spring and the fall. So I'm going to take the 9 on top, and then I'll go to the inside for a couple of double-digit prices I like underneath. The number 2, Virgin Colada, Flavian Pratt, teams up with the marathon man, Mike Maker, and they're going to go 12 furlongs for the first time here. I like those two efforts going the 10 furlong distance, and I do think Pratt's going to give a good enough ride. And then Venecia is a horse that's certainly proven around this distance at this class level. So this is one that I think also makes a lot of sense underneath. I don't really have anything against the 6, Mrs. Astor, the 7, Just Basking, or the 8, Illiterate. That's funny. But I think you could absolutely try and beat those guys out of the exacta if you want to, because I do think it's a wide open race. And even Speed Shopper has shown that with great trips, she doesn't always necessarily get the job done, but I do think she's a good lean in here for me.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what kind of trip she does get in here, because with that post, she could end up in no man's land. Now, Johnny usually can navigate those kind of things, but it's always going to take a lot of money in this race. And I'm going to look at prices. I'm going to try 2 of them. And you mentioned Virgin Colada. I like this one a lot. It comes off a couple races at Turfway. She's sharp right now and back to the grass, and she's shown okay races on the grass. She has a turf win, but I just think her form is better now. The fact that they're trying this spot, get Maker going a mile and a half, that's his game. You get Pratt to show up on this horse, you get an inside post. There's things to like about this one, and I think one that I have to have on tickets in this race, and a race that I'm not crazy about Literate. I don't really think that one is one that fits in this spot. I don't want this one going on the grass. And Speed Shopper, I understand that horse, and I do think it probably deserves to be favored, but I just think maybe should have won last time. I don't know. I mean, it's just one that I'm looking to fade. So I don't mind going against that one with the 2. And then I like Just Basking also. I didn't think, quite got the pace to be able to set up for her run. She has a lot of class to her. She was 3rd in that Grade 1 Alabama when she was a 3-year-old. She came back to win at Gulfstream in February from off the pace at a big price. And then I thought backed up that race with a decent run on March the 28th. Now shows up here. Now, obviously, she needs a setup. She needs things to kind of go her way, but I just want to use her. I'd use her on tickets against some of these favorites. So I probably pitched the 8, pitched the 9. Mrs. Astor, I don't know what to do with her. She got a terrible ride last time, really. I mean, if you watch that race on March 15th at Santa Anita, that wasn't her usual jockey. She's used to Rispoli, who, if you watch some of the races with her, she's always kind of, in tricky spots and has to make up a ton of ground late, even at very, very short odds. So we'll see what happens here. She's come to Keeneland 4 times. She lacks a win, but she's raced okay over this track. She definitely wants the distance. She gets Jose Ortiz, who was on fire on Wednesday. So no lack of confidence for him. This is a tough race, but I'm going to try some prices. I'll try the 2. I'll try the 7 here, race number 8, Keeneland on Friday.
I like it. Hey, if Just Basking gets the job done again, going 10 furlongs, Ian Wilkes might be coming for the Mike Maker Marathon title with, now having Burnham Square and a couple strong marathon runners in there.
Burnham Square. How about that race on Saturday? I love
He runs back to that rate. He runs back to that number in the fall, and that's in the exacta for the Breeders' Cup turf.
Race 9, maiden special weights now, Ryan. Straight 3-year-olds going 6 furlongs, and it looks like you have another exotic play here.
I do. For horizontal players, obviously it's closing day, it's mandatory payouts and all the pools. Mum Doggie's going to be really tough to get by. So that's going to be the main A in here. I think second off the layoff certainly took a step up with Lasix last time out. I think second time Lasix, it's just going to take another step forward. You get Tyler Gaffleone. So I won't spend too much time on that one, but I do like the 1 and the 7 underneath. The 7 for Rusty Arnold, who's done nothing but have success this meet, gets Luis Saez, his top guy for the Keeneland meet. They hit it 37% at Keeneland, which is just video game numbers, 287 ROI. This runner has some sharp works coming in, and I know some of those were over the grass. That doesn't bother me too much. Steady work tab, seems to be going the right way, and a couple nice bullets leading in here to show that this horse is ready to go, along with a 5 furlong stamina type drill that was available to watch. And I really like that. Went with a horse named Scope. And then down to the inside, you have Island Town, one of my favorite angles is just a horse that showed speed on debut, and that was as a 2-year-old in the middle of summer last year at Ellis Park. Now comes back as a 3-year-old, gets Lasix, clearly still working forward. Watching some of those works, seems to still have that speed in the mornings. So I'm looking for this one to finish most likely underneath. So I'm going to play 5 over the 1-7 and then the 1-7 over the 5. I do think it'll be between those runners. I definitely play the 5 on top, heavier than the 1-7 and the 5, and use that maybe a little more as a backup. But that is how I see this one.
Yeah, tough race. And you got some first timers here. You have a Wesley Ward first timer in the 8. You have plenty of second time starters. The 10 McCann took a fair amount of money first time out on the grass, and now Pratt sticks, and that's another George Weaver. He's over the meat, so he might be looking to get one out here. This one getting to the dirt, certainly bred for the dirt. So really tough race, and a race that I would probably be spready if I was playing at all, but one that I didn't find anything conclusive. So we'll look to your plays there in race number 9 on Friday. Race 10 to finish, and it's closing race for the meets here in the spring, and they're on the grass, Ryan. It's a 2X, and it's a mile and an 1/8, and I had a horse in this race. Now, this is we're not going to break the bank here, but I do think that Pretty Picture for Chad Brown gets it done in here. She's got plenty of class. Now she gets a spot where this is a nice comeback spot here. You get the distance. There's no lush lips in here. If you watch some of her prior races, she has quite the turn of foot, and she was just too far back there in that Miss Revere Churchill, and Lush Lips was primed to win that spot. She was, I think, 3 to 5 in there that day. So, but she came flying for second. She very easily could have won the race. I know that Brown has had a slow Keeneland, but he has 2 Grade 1 wins at the meet. He has 4 seconds, 4 thirds. So he's sending horses that are over live. He's just not winning at his typical percentage. But I do trust this horse. She's supposed to win if she's anything. I know that you like one in here. And then there's a morning line horse also showing up in the last of Keeneland here on Friday.
Yeah, look, Pretty Picture should absolutely get the job done, get her picture taken. But I went to the 10 in Random Harvest. Jimmy Toner and Johnny V are going to team up. Second off the bench for this one. This runner has a win over this course, not quite at this distance, but won a mile and 3/16 in the fall of 2024. So, she likes it here. She's able to, string together some very consistent efforts that she's never missed a try in her 6 starts on turf, or her 6 starts to her career, all of which have come on turf. She's run at this distance before and finished a good 3rd. Look, she does need things to set up a little bit for her, but she has more early speed than Pretty Picture. I think she's going to get some speed to close into. That's kind of the issue is, and it's why I also have the 6 on my A-line is, if things are going to set up for Random Harvest, that means they absolutely are going to set up for Pretty Picture, who does have a really nice turn of foot, to your point. But this is one that I'm hoping Johnny V just has in a little bit more of a tactical position, gets the jump on Pretty Picture, and you're just going to have to hope that, Johnny V is able to really get the jump and kind of hold things off in the later stages, because I'm with you that Pretty Picture should absolutely win. But at 10 to 1, I'm definitely willing to take a shot on Random Harvest. And then, a couple to the inside, we have Unmerited Favor, Kenny McPeak, morning line horse that I know we want to talk about, Mikey. Obviously, this is a stakes type horse that ran in the winter in a listed stake at the fairgrounds and finished a close 4th with Jose Ortiz aboard that day. So, with him being the top rider out at fairgrounds, that's a promising run for sure to get a top guy like Jose. Has a few wins over the grass in the past, so including a win over this course at Keeneland as well in a mile and 3/16 in basically the year later race that Random Harvest won.
Yeah, and that one's interesting showing up in here. And you get a big morning line also for that one, 20-1. I don't think that she really is 20-1 in this race, especially with that win over the course at a mile and 3/16. Now, the last 2 races, they were ambitious, right? Tried the Jockey Club Oaks there, faced horses like Fion. That one wasn't losing last year, was incredibly sharp. And then, tried a listed stake there at Fairgrounds in December, and she raced pretty well there. She came flying late, 6 wide. She comes back in this spot. You got the distance. And, if you're interested in having horses like this at the top level, and racing at Keeneland is the absolute top level. And there's going to be 5 horses racing on Oaks and Derby, the Oaks and Derby cards that you can get into on morningline.io. So there's just so many opportunities there, Ryan. And this would be a horse you kind of almost would be playing on the come a little bit. If you're interested in her, you maybe want to get her, before she races right now. You can have shares of her for $14.25. So she's available on morningline.io right now. Well, what happens if she would win this race? I would think that there would be lots of stakes opportunities, and even these upper level allowances, they carry big purses. You get dividends whenever the horses get checks. I mean, there's just really, I don't think there's a lot of downside.
I don't think there's any downside at all, really, to invest in this horse. This, the sire Summerfront ran into his 6-year-old season. So you have some longevity there. The Dam, same thing, ran into until she was 5 and kind of got better as she got older as well. And this runner definitely showed some ability as a 3-year-old running against a tough group. You mentioned ran into Fion, Laurelin. Those were 2 of the top 3-year-old fillies on the grass. Obviously, you got to throw nitrogen in there for the start of the year, and Lush Lips, and you had a lot of a deep, I would say, 3-year-old colony on the turf last year. And Unmerited Favor held her own in her own respect for sure. And I think she's continued to progress in all of those starts. And we haven't seen her since she was a late season 3-year-old. Now she's basically a mid-season 4-year-old. If she takes a big step up from those 81 speed figures, that puts her right here. If she jumps forward, 6, 7, 8 spots, she's going to get into that trifecta. And while maybe Friday isn't the day for her to win, if she takes that step up and runs an 86 or an 87, that sets her up for some stakes caliber races as we get into the summer, whether that's going to be up at the Spa, whether that's going to be at Churchill, Ellis Park, wherever. I do think that the step forward is there. I think right now is the opportunity to kind of get in at the low price, because if she wins, runs improved, runs well, and I mean, if she has trouble in a turf race, I mean, I think people are going to look into that even more and upgrade it. So I think right now is the time to kind of get in low before, she proves us all right.
Yeah, she's very intriguing, to be sure. And she's intriguing in this race also, one that I certainly will have on tickets on Friday. Well, go to morningline.io if you're interested and check that out. Again, lots of horses coming this week. We got Derby week coming, Ryan, and so many things going on the network, going on the plus side. I know you're going to be a big part of it. You and I head to Louisville for constant coverage all week.
That's right. Week from today, I'll be in Louisville, probably close to the racetrack, as I think I fly the red eye next Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to it. Jackson will be out there as well. We'll have nonstop coverage. It's going to be all gas, no brakes for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, jump into Keeneland. We've had a fantastic meet. We really enjoyed covering it. Hopefully, we gave you lots of winners. I know Ryan gave you quite a few, so don't sleep on Ryan on any of these shows. If you want the pick six, Gallop Out is also available on the network, so you can jump on the YouTube channel, jump on the audio side for more coverage of Keeneland. Ryan, always appreciate you. Thanks for all the analysis, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Always fun joining you, Mikey. Thank you.
This has been a production of In the Money Media. Get on the YouTube channel, watch some videos, catch into Keeneland, make some money. We'll see you next time.